Can we stay in our house through a remodel?
Disruption to your daily life throughout the construction process really depends on the project that we're doing. Once it hits a certain level or certain percentage of the house, I guess I would say, we really recommend that the clients move out of the house. We like to be on friendly terms with our clients, and living through a construction project is extremely tedious and quite painful, I guess I could say. And not because the work's getting done, but it's every morning that you're coming to your dining room or kitchen to get breakfast, and there's a layer of dust all over everything. And it just feels like a glorified camping trip. It's really, I feel that it just makes things, especially towards the end of the project, when even if we're on schedule as a contractor, the clients are over living like this, and it just makes it more frustrating. And they want the project to get done sooner than when we initially said that we would be done, because they decided to live through the project. So that puts added stress on both the homeowners and us. And then the homeowners, like a marriage, can definitely suffer a little bit throughout these times as well. So once we get a project, once it gets to a certain size, we do really recommend that the people living in the house move, maybe do an Airbnb or a rental somewhere else or whatever works for them, so that we can do our job more efficiently as well.
How could staying in the house affect the project's cost and timeline?
When people are living in the house, we feel like we need to do our best to make it as comfortable for them while they're living in the project. And what that does is it adds more onto our plate as a contractor. We're making sure that everything is taken out of the house at the end of the day, or things are tidied up and nice and neat over in the corner, so that when they decide to watch TV, they're not looking at a pile of lumber or such. And that cuts into our timeline, both in the morning and at the end of the day, because it's just added work for us to make sure to try to make the client as comfortable as possible while they're living through this difficult task. So that's another great reason why we do ask, once the project hits a certain size, that they move out.
When would staying in not be a problem?
If it's a smaller portion of a project, like doing one room in a house, we will mask the house off. If we need to put down any protection on the house, we'll make sure we take care of that so the house isn't affected. Everywhere that we're not working is not affected throughout the project. And we also typically will try to find another way into that area. A lot of the times, if we do a basement remodel, if we're adding an egress window, or if there is an egress window already, we'll ask all of our subs and vendors and everybody to use the egress window to get out of the house, rather than coming in through the front door, going down the stairs. So if the family is living in the house while we're working in a portion of the house, that we try to do it with, not disrupting the home life, and, getting out the door on time, and all those things that happen in everyday life. We really try to remove ourselves from that, block that off, and make it as though nothing is happening, other than they might hear some noise now and then, during louder parts of the project. But those are usually pretty few and far between.
So, is there a general rule of thumb, like up to this threshold we can stay in?
I don't really have a defined line, and it does change somewhat. Like if we were to work in a house, take this one for example, and we have a clean line where we're working over here, we can block all of this off with plastic and tape to make sure that no dust is getting underneath and affecting the other half. And we have access to this part of the house. I'm fine if people decide that they want to live on the other side. But if we're doing some work on this end of the house, and some work on that end of the house, and some work over there, and we're going to be trudging through, someone's house, we really prefer that we have the house to ourselves for a little while, to facilitate that as quickly as possible, so that they get their house back to themselves, and we're not continuously in each other's way, or, like I was mentioning, having to move materials around for them. If it's a bathroom remodel, that's something that we can we can do with a homeowner living there. It's just, it's really, once we hit a certain extent where we have to evaluate, okay, how many times are we going to pass the homeowner in a day? And how many times are we going to have to like open and close any sort of house protection? When we do these remodels, we do put plastic from ceiling to floor and tape them off and tape off all the doors to make sure that no dust or the littlest amount of dust can blow through as possible. And if we have to start compromising that, multiple times throughout a day, it's just not effective. And it's really, it is a time suck for us.